go.
T-minus 80 seconds. T-minus 70 seconds. T-minus 60 seconds. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Oh, thanks very much. I spent no more than like £12 on this whole outfit.
I'd ask me £11 back.
I was going to just wear a baseball cap and be Sean, but
the mask is the worst part. It looks horrible.
That doesn't come off, unfortunately. Yes, look, I'm a Jedi. Hello, and welcome to the Outpost Frequencies, brought to you by thelastmovieoutpost.com for all of your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about film. Yoda is MIA at the moment. He's apparently working.
He's in San Francisco, and he got into a little bit of trouble at Paul Pelosi's house.
Without context, even I know what that's about. But we have got Moi Den.
I can't believe you just said the N word in Vietnamese. You fucking bigot.
MC Hammer, and we are joined by Rishi Sunak, our new Prime Minister, otherwise known as Dean. Hello, Dean.
He says that he doesn't hear us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hold on. I'll tell him to log out and back in.
I'll remove Dean for a moment, so it's just the three of us.
Okay.
And then, like I say, tell him to log back in, and we'll get him sorted out.
Okay.
How weird? Isn't the internet wonderful?
It is. Yes.
Without Yoda here, there's nobody else to blame. Damn it.
Did Yoda come in on later?
He should do. Like I say, it depends on what happens.
Nah, even if he does, he says he's backstage. Even if just don't accept Yoda if he comes back.
So, top 10 rape scenes.
Here we go. This is our show now, boys.
Sorry. Top 10 non-consensual love scenes. Let's start with number 10.
Dean is backstage with no sound.
There we go. How we doing, Dean? Can you hear us now?
No.
Dear.
What have you done, Phil?
I haven't done anything.
Has Dean checked his volume? Let's start with the basics first.
Yeah. I don't know.
Your volume.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah, it worked. I don't know. Tell me something to tell him here.
All right, Bill Gates. Again, just probably log out and then log back in again, I think. In the meantime, we're going to talk about some of the news that's
all right
been going on this week. Oh my God! Shall I take him out? Take Dean out at the moment and then get back in and again. Oh, there he goes. He's gone. Okay, no. So the news this week. anything in particular that struck you guys?
The bass half of Rankin Bass died yesterday, a day or two ago. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
Who?
You know, Rankin Bass,
What?
the dude they made the Hobbit, the animated Hobbit from back in the day, and
Oh, right.
the Last
okay.
Unicorn and all that studio.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
Apparently, he wasn't too beloved.
No. Oh, Dean's back.
Dang.
Dean, can you hear us now? Earth to Dean.
Wait a minute. Are we speaking the proper English? Oi, mate. Can you hear us now?
Oi there, mate. If you tried giving it a good kicking,
Oh, no.
he's
Shit.
having a giraffe.
I don't know.
Why is it? This was
No.
supposed to be so much of an easier way of doing
I know
this,
it.
and yet
I don't know.
It's just not working.
I don't know what to
Dean,
do.
if you're there, speak to us from the other side. It's a
He's-
good one, for Halloween.
He's talking to me on chat, but I don't know what you want to tell him something. What do you want to do?
Computers. It's up to Dean. If he wants to try again, I can't understand why he's not. There's nothing else I can do to help out, unfortunately.
Is he?
Uh,
What's he
yeah,
using?
there's-
A phone?
Yeah, I think so. I'm using a phone though
Yeah. Why's your room
We'll
red
disappear
like
for a second.
Roxanne?
because I've got this.
Because it's
I got this neon red light for Halloween, man.
and it's Halloween.
Oh.
Have you?
Who are
thought
you
it's like-
supposed to be?
Me, I'm getting over
Matt?
man flu, so I'm literally in my pajamas. And my dress down. My wife just said, "Are you seriously doing your live stream dressed like that?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I don't feel well."
Yeah.
Do you have the pajama bottoms on with the feet sewn into it, the little footies?
A onesie.
Little onesie,
My son bought these. It's like a proper 70s style. Look,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
70s style dressing gown. But no, I couldn't be bothered to put on an effort. We was out last night with friends, so I had a few beers, and I don't feel particularly 100%, which is why I wasn't here last week either. So
Oh, okay.
I just thought, do you know what?
Good-
There's
do
only
you know
about
what?
10 people watching this. I don't think they're going to mind if I'm sitting here in a dressing gown.
Nobody
I do think
cares.
we should talk about the fact that man flu is a very serious killer that women don't take seriously.
What? So what? Dean, can you hear us? I guess
No.
not. All
That
right.
answers that question.
He's gone.
So I'll tell you what, Matt, why don't you start us with the news, since as you are appropriately dressed, that apparently the worst Superman of all, Henry Cavill,
Honestly.
no,
Honestly.
he's we are going to do an article about it tomorrow, because he's now stepped away from The Witcher, because it looks like
Yes.
he's going to be busy playing Superman again in the future. You're a happy
Yeah,
chappy, aren't
apparently.
you?
I am a very, very happy chappy because I think he's an awesome Superman. So, yeah, I'm over the moon. And I was reading, funny enough, I was reading the other day that he signed up to do Man of Steel 2, which is long overdue, Black Adam 2, and Justice League 2. Apparently,
You know-
a 3-picture deal.
I think he would have made a really good Punisher because he looks like, with a little beard stubble, black hair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. He's a big bastard as well.
Big giant guy. Yeah, man. If
My favorite meme of his is it's something along the lines of, I've never had a problem asking out women. I just merely ask them. Henry Cavill. Yeah, if you asked me out, I'd go out with you. how good looking and buff are you?
He's a smooth operator. There's no doubt about that. My wife's absolutely in love with him, so I don't mind.
Dean says he's backstage again. If you want to try it one more time, Dean.
Hello, Dean. Oh,
Dean,
man.
no joy.
Hello.
Wait a minute.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay,
There we
we
go.
got it.
We can
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
you.
Okay, we're good.
Full
Sorry
house.
about that. Sorry about that,
Oh,
Dean.
I'm
Like I
here.
say,
You're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you loud and clear. 5x5.
um,
That's all right.
sorry about that, Dean. Like I say, we've been
It's-
trying.
Blame Steve Jobs.
It's fucking Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's I can't even say. Well, I suppose I could blame Yoda because he is not here. He can't defend himself, can't he?
Mm-mm.
Can he? Stupid moron. Right, okay, Dean. It's lovely to have you here. Sorry about the technical issues.
It is fucking brilliant.
Oh man, that's just
dear.
not. That's just not fair.
I don't even know what it could be.
I don't either, unless he's using like a.
That it keeps tripping away on us. Whether they're having an issue from their server or not, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I'm all right.
Yeah, you guys are fine. Like, I think it's maybe he's using his cell phone coverage instead of.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
He's roaming data.
yeah, right.
it's just so weird.
Oh well. So yeah, Henry Cavill back as Superman, fucking over the moon, long overdue, and I'm as happy as a pig in shit.
Happy as a long
I mean-
3-ball. Happy as a puppy with 2 pickers.
Happy as a rent boy with a hammer.
Happy as 3 Mexicans in a 2-man tent.
Anyway, it does mean though that it does procure him though from becoming James Bond before the foreseeable future, which is a bit of a
that
shame.
is a down. Yeah, it's a bit of a downside, but I think I'm convinced that Rene, whatever the fuck his name is from Bridgerton, is going to be the new Bond.
The black fella.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen him there. He's got his mic on mute. Oh god,
Oh,
goodness
yeah.
me!
This is just not fair.
It's like inviting your dad onto the live stream.
No,
No,
Dad,
press
Dad,
that button.
Dad,
Press
that's
that
the
button.
microwave, Dad. That's the microwave.
Well, Dean is very technologically competent. This is something beyond his control because he's normally like the guy that I ask all my computer problems to. So I don't know.
We'll carry on talking, and hopefully he will join us. I keep this being a Jedi is a pain in the ass. I keep getting it hooked on.
Are you a Jedi?
What do you
I thought
think
you
I
was
was?
like I thought you was like Gandalf or something.
Does Gandalf use one of these?
I thought it was a
Well-
fishing pole. I thought that was a fishing pole.
I thought it was a dildo.
It can be anything I want it to be. So,
Hey Matt, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
Yeah, even a hammer.
Yeah, especially a ham.
Gandalf, just because of the beard, I'm like Obi-Wan, but with glasses. I'm a nearsighted
Oh.
Obi-Wan. like Ewan McGregor should have been before reading the script and agreeing to do that series.
Well, won't you use the Force and fix Dean's problems here?
No, it's not working. That's what my mum thinks I do when I turn off the router and on again, and it makes everything work. She thinks I use the Force to do that.
Let me ask you something. If they use their mind powers to do it, why do they have to stick their hand out like that for?
Effect.
Yeah. Be a bit bored if you was just watching a film, some bloke going.
That's
like,
true.
that
And
Like
it's
that
also a
was
bit of a giveaway. Well, I was going to say, yeah, some woman's walking down the street and her clothes fall off, and everybody stood there watching, apart from one guy going,
So what other news we got then? It's been a crazy old week because and now we've got two.
We've got
We've
two
got
of
two
them.
Deans.
2 Deans, yeah.
Yeah,
For the price
one
of
of
one.
them should work.
Yeah,
there
that
we
one's
go.
working.
There we go.
One of,
Yep, we can hear
right,
you now,
using the
Dean.
Skull Candy headphones now. So yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. There we go. Like I say, apologies for the technical issues, but Dean,
Holy
lovely
sh-
to have you along here.
Holy shit, your Force powers did work. They were just
Thank you.
delayed.
Fucking hell, Gandalf, you're magical.
Gandalf used the Force to help Harry Potter.
Is the
Do you think that Gandalf would have raped Harry Potter though?
the power of the pork sword?
When I said I wanted a one fight, this isn't what I had in mind. Right, okay, so news. Back to news. We're just going through some of these. The new Doctor Who.
This is gold. This
Regeneration.
is absolutely gold.
Oh, you froze up for like 10 seconds, brother. It was funny.
Why does nothing here work? Okay, this is why you need to donate to the Last Movie Outpost so that we can afford decent servers and a decent stream service. Okay?
Better hosts, Better host.
So you
Right.
said Doctor Who and then you froze.
Right. Yeah. No, Doctor Who has been regenerated. I didn't watch it because I would rather scratch my eyes out with a fork than watch it. But Matt, you did, and he's been regenerated back into Matt Smith, isn't he?
Whoa! Hold on, I didn't watch it. I'm not watching that
All
shit.
right.
No, it was all over the news that David Tennant is
David Tennant,
is
sorry.
back for 3 episodes, which I found was hilarious because they went for this whole women power and trans and gays and everything else, and then viewing figures just dived, and then obviously that to bring back the white man to save their shitty show.
Everybody, take your member berries. Everybody, take your member berries, please.
Yeah.
Remember how you love David Tennant.
Which
So
one
they've
is
got
he?
him.
Which one is he? Is that the guy with the gray hair or the guy with the black?
No, that was Peter Capaldi. It was the one before him.
I don't remember.
No,
I
the
don't
one
know.
before Matt Smith.
Yeah, but Matt's. Oh yeah, no, Matt. Yeah, because it went David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, and then whatever the woman's
Whatever her
called.
name is, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've
Jodie
got
Whittaker.
so they've got him back for 3 episodes just to boost ratings up again, and then obviously they're once again they'll fuck him off, and we got some Rwandan black dude who's apparently gay coming in, and the whole thing
Because that
just
is the
repeats.
case, isn't it?
I've
That's
heard.
what's
Literally
happening.
the case.
I've
Yeah.
heard on Giant Freaking Robot that the Prime Minister is going to be the next. The guy that's the Prime Minister is going to be the next Doctor Who.
Well, give him another month, and he's going to be out of work anyway. So it might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Is
if he
Dean
does
still
do
there? Has
that,
he gone?
Dean. Oh man.
Let's just keep going. He'll come
Yeah,
back.
yeah. He'll pop in and out
Yeah.
as.
we'll just. In the meantime, we've got a lovely picture of a nice cat.
That's it.
Um,
So
yeah.
so it's funny, really. So Jodie Whittaker's time as the Time Lord has ended, and no one was talking about her. Everyone was just talking about David Tennant being back. It's not brilliant. Absolutely
been-
brilliant.
So
it
did
has
you
been
guys?
quite funny.
Did you guys watch All Quiet on the Western Front?
Not a chance yet, mate.
I will. I must admit, I'm not like, I don't want to say not looking forward to it, but I will give it a watch. But it's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big war film person.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Is it as good as 1917? Sure,
It's better than 1917 in my opinion.
it is.
Because it's funny, you
I-
made the same comment that I've got a couple of friends who make lead figures for wargamers, and they are historical nuts on both world. Well, yeah, but they're both historical absolute know-it-alls when it comes to World War and everything else. And we talked about 1917, and the first thing they said to me was it was a load of rubbish. Everything was too clean.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just said, that the place was literally the Somme. Everything was just caped in mud. Nothing was
Yeah.
clean. No, no uniforms or anything. And I noticed that in your review, Sean. You said the same thing, didn't you?
Yeah. 1917 is like this fairy tale version of it,
Yeah.
and that bothered me because it's like, what war is it? What? And this one is not. This one is full of mud and grime and blood and violence and bleak depression, very nihilistic. So great. French dudes getting blown away. What else?
Well, that pretty much. I might just watch that one scene over and over again.
Put it on loop.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when like your trading places always had like a funny blip just before that scene with Jamie Lee Curtis, because obviously you kept rewinding it and playing it that scene over and over again. That's what Matt's going to get on his DVD when he buys that, and just to watch the French.
Yeah.
Just watch the French getting blown up.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy. So it's good then, is it? So
I think
I'll set some time away.
Yeah, it's a very serious, somber, proper, look at war and the concept. It's all that kind of shit. But yeah,
Okay.
it's good. It's very realistic, and I had a few minor complaints, but it is what it is. CGI gunfire, that kind of thing. But they did. Obviously,
Thank Alec Baldwin for that.
yeah, but they did eject fired cases out of their rifles, so that was a plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's not the fighting scenes are pretty good. You even get down over there in the trenches, hacking each other with their shovels, all that.
Oh, wow.
We've got Dean back again.
And I'm not going to be Doctor Who.
Oh man.
Shame. That's a shame. You could have set
Because
everybody straight.
but I can confirm that Jodie Whittaker's box is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
See, that was worth the wait. It's taken
That
us
was.
20 minutes to get you here, and it was worth the wait just for that.
That's
one joke.
why
That was
he's
brilliant.
been thinking of the punchline, just making out he can't log on. He's just sitting there going, "That's not going to work."
You know what's funny about
No,
this is new viewers are going to tune into this episode. Go, man, who is this? Who is this guy that they worked so hard to get on here? That he must be like some big YouTuber, and they're like, who?
And the first thing he talks about is Jodie Whittaker's chuff.
Well, I did watch the episode, and it wasn't my best wank, but I did watch it.
But well done, Dean. Well done. Like I say, I gave up as soon as the thing that got me with Jodie Whittaker is when they announced it. It was such a big hoo-ha about now it's going to become a woman. I just didn't even bother with the series.
Did you make that pun on purpose? Hoo-ha is a U.S. term for vagina, in case you didn't know.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
bit-
no, of
It is
course.
a big hoo-ha, yeah.
Bigger on the inside.
It's a lot bigger. There's several other doctors inside it. There's at least
where they've
12.
gone.
At least 12.
12 what?
Dear.
Oh man,
I reckon Jodie Whittaker sucked him back in.
he just barely got out enough
It's
to
like,
get self.
let me out of this fucking
Yeah.
thing.
He's obviously got. If he's on his phone, he's not got very good cell phone reception. Is obviously what it is, because we still get that here in the UK. Places which don't have good cell phone reception, which is ridiculous. Living in 2000.
Well, that's
whatever
you. That's where you live, mate.
we are. that is
In the
mildly
Shire.
Yeah.
Well, he is Gandalf. Where do you expect him to live?
so.
So what else we got then? What else we got? It's been a tough week, hasn't it? Because obviously Stark's on holiday, so we're
Yeah.
having to pick up.
We
the
have
slack,
been-
and I've
we have been-
I've been ill.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's been difficult keeping up with stories. There was a first look image at Fallout, which, because it's Amazon, it's kind of, okay, which way are they going to go? Are they going to go Reacher or are they going to go Rings of Power? Because Fallout, the game, is a brilliant story. It's absolutely
I've never played
fantastically
it.
engaging. Oh, it's great.
Video
It's the
games are for homos.
The premise is, if a war took place in the 1950s and America was destroyed by nuclear weapons and people hid in bunkers, what would happen a few hundred years later if these people that were born in bunkers actually left the bunker to go out into like the wasteland of America, where there are?
But we're about to find out.
I don't want to wait a couple of hundred years. I want to see it now.
Phil was just saying last week how he wanted to live the movie Threads himself.
Do you know what? I think it was you, Sean. You've done a review of that Threads, didn't you? And I watched it after reading. Who
No,
done
it's
the
me,
review
I
of
think.
Threads? Was that you, Phil?
Me, yeah.
And I watched the film straight after. I've got to be honest. It's fucking
Dean's backstage.
disturbing.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
I think that made my I think that was in one of my horror lists. That Threads, the aftermath.
Oh, yeah.
Phil.
Yeah,
The
it was.
last scene in that sits with you for a long time. It's horrible.
But
Horrible.
I've often played around with the idea that we go back to the caveman times and medieval and everything else. I've often had this sort of short story in my own head about how that is the result of a nuclear holocaust and how we ended up going back to basics again. And I was watching that thread, so I was like, how they're all like ill-educated and inbred and basically retarded. And you're like, that is
So you
actually
do quite
pretty
well.
much- I'd be like a king.
Yeah.
I could say 4 things without taking a breath. But it was that thread was fucked up. That was horrible.
I think what got me about it is it went so far into the future. Most of these things only sort of deal with like the aftermath for like a week or maybe a month or something.
Yeah.
Whereas this went off to like 15 odd years into the future, and it was still really messed up.
Yeah, it's horrible. Great film though.
Oh,
I hope
yeah.
they remake
It's-
it.
it's not as funny as the book.
I can't wait to see part 2.
Yeah.
I went to see, we see part 2 when we go outside, don't we, Matt?
We do it at the moment.
But yeah, Fallout. I think it's kind of everything these days is kind of. I look forward to stuff, and it's kind of, but I look forward to it with that certain sense of dread, of trepidation, of it might be good, but at the same time, it's probably going to be absolutely bloody awful.
It probably will be awful.
Yeah, well,
Dean is
but then
in and
Reacher
out
was
of
good.
here. Which one?
Reacher was good. Amazon done well with
Yeah.
Reacher.
That's what I'm
Reacher
saying.
was great.
Yeah,
And what
Reacher
was
was
the first
good.
one with Jack Ryan? The first season of that was good.
I haven't watched
No.
that.
I think you'd like that. Second season was poor. In fact, I've just released a trailer for the third. I'll have to write that up tomorrow.
The Boys is good too, but it's really I go back and forth on The Boys because it wants to go woke, but then it don't. Then it wants to print some message, and then it kind of
Yeah.
don't. And it's very all over the places. Like I can't get a real hand.
It
It's
does
like
it has some great moments though.
it does. It's like got just enough good stuff to keep me from abandoning it completely.
Yeah, but they do
But-
sit. You're right. They sit on the fence. It's like
Yeah.
they want to go one way or the other, but I suppose they're keeping both sides of the argument happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so in other bits of news, Matt, why don't you talk to us again, because it's more your cup of tea, about James Gunn taking over some of DC without using the word nonce.
Okay. Well, James Gunn, the potential nonce, is. I've got mixed feelings about this because I'll be honest with you. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is one of Marvel's better films, and I didn't even mind the sequel. Peacemaker was okay; it was quite amusing, and I don't know. I just think after Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole Marvel thing just sort of went downhill because they sort of realised that you could actually inject quite a lot of comedy into these films, and then obviously
there was a good balance in Guardians of it.
So James Gunn, at his best, Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn, I think could do some really good things because I'm a DC fan. I think we've got much better characters than Marvel anyway. But then I do get concerned that we might get James Gunn from the Suicide Squad, which I thought was just crap.
You really
So
missed
I
out.
don't know.
You really missed out not coming on last week because Cecil's a big Snyderverse guy, big DC.
I was gutted, man. I was watching it. Like I said, I've had this man flu, and it's got worse. I can't shift it, and I've lost all my sense of taste and smell as well now, which is awesome. And I just kept, as the day was going on, I was just thinking, do you know what? I can't do this. That's why I bowed out early. I was just like, ugh. I just felt lousy.
No big
And
deal.
you can hear it in my voice. I'm still not 100%. Still got this dry cough and this sore throat, and it's been 2 weeks now. It's just bullshit.
Are we going to have
But
a
yeah.
big man hug?
No.
Nobody cares about your illness.
Oh, God.
We're not women
I'm
here.
dying.
This isn't loose women.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got mixed feelings about James Gunn coming to DC. But then let's be honest, it can't be worse than what the last 5 or 6 years have been. So, let's give him a chance.
Do you like that tone, that more whimsical tone that he uses, in, like Guardians of the
No.
Galaxy? Because
I
that's
think
what
it's all right.
that's what they hired him to do, though. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's why I like Snyder's dark. The Batman, Joker, the Dark Knight. I like my dark, gritty superheroes. I don't have a problem with Man of Steel, as you know, like Batman v Superman. I don't like all this shiny. So I don't like the Aquaman films or Shazam. Certainly Wonder Woman 2 was a pile of shite. So I am a little bit concerned, but, let's see. The good news is obviously they're keeping the darker stuff like Joker 2 and potentially the Batman universe with the guys that have already done it. I can't remember their names. So I think James Gunn might take the more shiny stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to go darker. Maybe with Marvel, it was kind of all a bit too nicey, and sort of he wants to sort of maybe...
he kind of was the in a way, he's the one that kicked that off. Like stuff was a little bit more lighthearted in Marvel, but when he he started that Guardians that really started the over the top like which Thor Ragnarok was entertaining enough, but that really kick started that whole more whimsical, jokey, So
yeah, because you think
fair enough.
before then, Iron Man was quite dark. I mean, obviously you had Civil War, Winter Soldier, so they did have their elements of the darkness involved. But yeah, James Gunn's Guardians sort of kicked it all off to be. It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, changed the tone.
Booky, but
in a negative way, but he really changed. Like they adjusted the tone after the success of Guardians, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll see. I know a lot of people want the Christopher Reeve style Superman back, but my attitude is we live in much more cynical times than we did in the 70s.
I don't think Superman in a wheelchair is going to work.
Well, you never know.
Well, they made a gay spider character knockoff of a wheelchair in a wheelchair. Do you know that?
What's that?
They've made a new Spider-Man spin-off character. You know how there's several of them. They've got a new one that's in a wheelchair, literally crippled.
So what do the bad guys do? Run upstairs?
The character's got the two like double crutches that the like paralyzed from the waist down types use, and
like Joe from Family Guy.
Fires.
So he'd be swinging, his legs would be coming right like that. Woo!
I'm not even joking. I'm dead serious.
Oh my god!
Inclusion. Speaking of inclusion, we also had the news this week, or diversity, I should say, of Night of the Living Dead remake, and it's being remade by Nakayatu Jisu.
That's racist. That's so racist. Stop pretending like you.
It's not as racist as Guillermo del Toro. But I mean, again, it's another one of these remakes that's coming out, and it's just as soon as you sort of see the photo of this woman who's now making it, you go,
oh, I didn't know a woman was involved. Ugh.
Well, now we've got Priti Patel.
Oh,
yeah, I'm transgender now.
Oh man!
Oh,
again,
and
was this all for that one long joke?
It's just written another one.
Game here.
So going back to Jodie Whittaker's mouth.
But again, it's a female black woman who's now going to be directing a remake of Night of the Living Dead. So we can guess how that's going to go.
Yeah, that was shit.
Yeah, it just like I say, I barely read the article and I saw that one picture and it was just no, that's me out.
Well, I've got something more disturbing. I was reading today how John Carpenter wants to make a sequel to The Thing.
I've heard
I
that as well.
I don't believe that's real news. I think that's clickbait scuttlebutt.
Yeah, but if he makes it, it's full of black people. It's going to be called The Thang.
The Thangs.
Lord,
oh man, are you scared of the thing?
Lord, we got one of them things after us.
Oh man, I nearly made a joke then that might have got us kicked off, so I just kept that to myself. I'll save it till afterwards.
Yo, dog. I think that dog's a thing.
But again, it's
you know what? The movie starts out, and instead of it being a husky, it's a pit bull.
And it's set, the whole thing's set in the hood.
Yeah, the thing in the hood. The thing in the hood.
And it'll be someone standing in line to get their food stamps, and he'll get them and walk off, and then come back as a completely different character and get another set.
That's what.
And then you see him at the end of the film with chains on, Air Jordans.
Oh, we better stop now before we get in trouble.
Like I say, I'm already still sat there on my joke, and I'm thinking, nope, I'm not going to do it. So let's move on to something else then, because one of the reviews I did this week, because it's obviously been building up to Halloween and there's been decent scary stuff on. We will talk about Cabinet of Curiosities later, but I watched Barbarian. Now, Sean, you said you haven't seen this yet.
No, but I've heard really good things, and then I've heard the guys in our own comment section to use your guys' term, minging about it. So I don't know.
I haven't minged about anything, Ray.
Not you. I said
no. But I'm just saying.
Oh.
No, to address that, because Sean Bird's comments said it was very preachy about man bad, women good, blah blah blah. Basically, one of the characters in the film, when we first meet him, he's in a soft top car and he's driving down the Californian coast or whatever, and he's all happy as Larry. But he gets a phone call saying that some woman has accused him of rape, and the TV show will be moving forward, but without him. And so he's kind of like, there is the whole Me Too thing. I didn't mind that. I just thought to myself, okay, so this is a character and he's been put in an awful situation. And so to deal with this situation, he goes to this house where the events are taking place, his Airbnb. And so I didn't mind that. It's funny because, like I say, I'm not having to go at Sean here, but other Sean, that is. But I can see how he saw it as that, because if you go into a film, I was kind of looking for the woke in all kinds of movies these days, but I just didn't see it in there. I didn't get it. What I thought it was Barbarian was just a fantastically well done horror that was broken down into 3 very separate pieces and really paid off nicely at the end, I felt.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I already know that I'm going to like it, even though it's got that thing. That's part of his character, that he's not he's not a trustworthy character anyway. So the chances are that he did do it,
But the thing is, that to me, I'm not going to spoil this, but that it does pay off in the end, because there is a moment at the end where he's kind of debating whether he is a good guy or a bad guy. And so to me, that just kind of added to the character. So yeah, I didn't have an issue with it. What I was going to say, what I would describe the movie as is Dante's Inferno is sort of like the journey into the several depths of hell. That's kind of what this movie is like, I feel.
It's called The Divine Comedy.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yes.
What's Dante's Inferno then?
That's part of the whole thing, you illiterate limey.
We all know I don't read books.
Who the hell reads books?
Yeah.
What are books?
Apparently our local slack-jawed yokel is the only one who reads books. Obviously, because they're not on the electric yet. There by candlelight. But no, I always thought it was Dante's Inferno was the journey into hell.
It is, but it's part of the. Never mind. Forget it.
It's no point in explaining stuff like that to me. It's too.
Does he have a journey into heaven as well?
He does, and purgatory.
Right.
Okay.
Is it more fun?
I think he had. I think he has. Yeah, I think he has more fun in.
Or is it written in boring old ancient Italian like the rest?
Yeah,
of them?
it is. It's like, oh,
there was no way you read that, is there? Really?
I did read it. Yes.
You don't read ancient Italian. You just don't.
No, I didn't read it in the original Italian or the original Klingon. I read it
That's like accusing us of reading Shakespeare. We don't read Shakespeare. We just watch, Denzel Washington play a black Scottish king.
I have read the Divine Comedy. I have never read any Shakespeare other than what I was made to read in high school. So,
see, it's weird over here because Divine Comedy's a band, because they wrote the music to Father Ted.
Well, that is a pretty good name for a band, though.
Yeah,
and My Lovely Horse, the Eurovision song.
Exactly. Yeah, My Lovely Horse.
Do you want me to explain the Divine Comedy to you for our more ignorant viewers here?
Do you know what? I don't think you've read it. I think you've just taken that clip out of Seven.
No, it's
when
about
Somerset gave you the books, and I reckon you're like, yeah, that's definitely what I think.
He's had a quick browse through Wikipedia.
No, the guy is escorted through, heaven and purgatory and hell by Virgil, the poet from Dean probably knows that better.
The Aeneid.
Yeah, and yeah, and so this guy's sort of his because Virgil was not a Christian, he can't get into heaven, so he's stuck in purgatory, but he doesn't go to hell because he was he was a good man, he just wasn't a Christian man. So right. he escorts him and he shows him all this stuff, and it's kind of, you get the explanation, and
if that's the case, then Barbarian is nothing like the Divine Comedy.
The house that Jack built is very inspired by
Is that a book?
The house that Jack built? No, that's a movie from Lars von Trier. who me and
Yeah.
you have very much in common with.
Right, with this barbarian, basically, she goes to an Airbnb and there's somebody already staying there. And at first you're thinking, "Oh, grief, this is going to kick off." That's not even touching the story. She ends up going back there. It's in a rundown part of Detroit. And when she goes back there, the basement is open. And so she goes downstairs and then she finds this rope which opens a secret door. And behind this secret door is a room I imagine Sean lives in, as opposed to the house that he's showing us. But like there's just simply a bed with sort of semen stains and blood on it, and a bucket and a camera.
That's pretty much my bedroom. Yeah, you not far.
But
And-
books as well. He has
Apparently.
lots of books.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
show? I'll show you my book collection now. If you guys are going to keep pushing it.
Yeah,
Oh,
we know you've
well,
got
both of them.
the Ladybird collection. And-
Spot
But-
does horror.
I have.
no, not that kind of Ladybird. He has the other kind of Ladybird books. I know that for a fact. You know, the ones
I
with Blair White all over.
Yeah, I
I
have.
think I think you mean Lady Boy books.
I have an extensive collection of the
Depends
Emmanuel
on your
series.
culture.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she finds this room and starts freaking out, and then she can't. This other guy who she was staying with comes back, and they both go down there. But then he disappears down another staircase, which goes down even further. And this is all in the first like 20 minutes, and it just gets better and better. And it was
wow.
very well made, very well directed, and it had an ending, which is annoying because I would really like to talk about it. But the ending was proper. Well, that was messed up at the end of it.
You sold me
It's-
on it now. I'm going to watch it as soon as we get done.
It's funny the premise of that, the double booked thing. They did that with that woman who was in Stranger Things, the one that used to Winona Ryder.
Mm.
They did a
Okay.
film with her recently where she goes with a boyfriend to a cabin in the woods, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
already booked
Yeah,
supposedly, but it's a lot of twists and everything. It's more of a thriller. It's kind of a horror, but it's like they're all on this double booked thing now as being a trope. So
Right.
this is like the third of these, I think, so far this year that's got that.
I don't
happening.
even like going on holiday with my wife. So yeah, finding somebody else in a room, yeah, would be horrible. They say, well, hell is other people.
It was actually a short story in the 1920s of a woman who goes in the wrong bedroom thinking it's hers. But it's not hers. She's on holiday in France. I can't remember what the author is because she probably only wrote 2 things. But
Who the hell would go to France for vacation? That's just. I
I'd
can't-
rather go through Dante's Inferno.
if you look up on YouTube, a guy called Bite Sized Audio, he's done the reading of it because I don't read books. I just listen to other people reading books. 'Cause I can't read.
Yeah.
Look at my name
Thank you,
here.
thank you, Dean.
I'm Priti Patel. I can't read.
Thank you, Dean. It's all British people. None of us can read.
No,
Shakespeare did everything for us, and then we've not had to bother since then.
Well, the real Shakespeare was a black woman, so.
Do you know what? I'm glad you said that. I saw that the other day.
and it probably was, for all we know, because
I'm sure.
it's unintelligible. It's boring old shit, and they force you to read it at school, telling you it's a classic, and it's not. Ben
Well, I was going to say,
Jonson was
I have
much
read
better.
an article
He
on
makes a
Facebook, and I've
compelling
watched it.
argument.
I was going to say I have watched. I've read an article on Facebook and watched 2 YouTube videos on it, so I'm convinced. So in other news, because it's difficult to talk about Barbarian without spoiling it, but in other news, the other great show which has started this week, which I introduced on the site, but was Cabinet of Curiosities by Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro.
It's pronounced Mexican. Mexican del Toro.
Billy the Bull. It's Billy the Bull if you translate it to English. Or
And-
Billy of the Bull.
Is that true? Is
Yeah.
that real?
Guillaume
Really?
is whatever his name is. That's William, Billy,
Uh-huh.
and like Del Toro, I like the bull, so of the
Oh.
bull. So he's
Oh,
Billy of the Bull.
Billy
He's
of the Bull.
Billy
Yeah.
Bullshitter.
Billy bullshit. I was going to say, yeah.
That's a good name.
I get called that a lot. But no, this series has sort of kind of not crept out of nowhere as such, but obviously they've done it in time for Halloween and everything else. But I mean, we had an article about it a little while ago, but so far I'm only on about episode, I think it's like 4 or 5, but so far it's been cracking.
Yeah.
Have you
that's
seen
great.
any of it, Dean?
Nope.
You should
No.
watch it, Dean. It's good.
No, I've been playing Fallout 3 because I got it for nothing for like 2 days ago. I got the game for free off a website, a legitimate website that gives games away for free, and I've been playing that and following Liam Neeson about for some reason.
Have you not played Fallout before?
Nope, never even saw it before, and I thought, oh, this
Nice.
is good. It's a great game, but I've been addicted to it. In fact, I've been on the computer for 16 hours a day playing it, and then I've been shooting things all over the place, and rednecks. With these rednecks, oh, it's great. It was like shooting Sean over and over again.
I told you,
is-
I told you, I'm not a redneck. I'm a hillbilly. There's a difference.
Yeah, well, the same things, the slack-jawed ones with the moonshine and everything. They were all in the. They're all in this like downloaded bit because it's the Game of the Year edition, and like I was.
Oh yeah.
And they got these little fat bellies, but they all look like Sean. They all look. they all got the caps on and the glasses, and they all look like him, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, no, Fallout's fantastic. We just said that they've
That's,
Amazon are doing a
I
series on
just want to point out that's a good friend of mine talking. By the way,
Yeah. You posted up dead squirrels earlier.
Yeah.
I
So
did.
I saw a dead squirrel again.
Do you know what? Though, going through his Instagram, there was a lovely photo the other day of him and his dog, which I have saved and will use for blackmail purposes somewhere along the line whenever I need them. they're saved.
That's not how it works. If you post something publicly, you can't reuse it for blackmail. You doofus.
I saw something the other day. I've got to put it out there because this is, even though it's going to get me in trouble, but there's a guy that we all hate that I make lots of harassing memes of. And he posted up this thing, where you add a little baby Yoda to things as a video insert, as an app. He posted up this picture of his sister, who he lives in the basement of. He doesn't. He's like 58 years old. He lives with his sister in her basement, and he's a fat loser. Anyway, that's just the background. He's got this video of Baby Yoda sitting on her while she licks a dog's ass. She's kissing and licking this dog's ass, and he videoed it, and he's laughing his ass off and put the Baby Yoda on it and published it because he has no self-awareness whatsoever. And the funny thing is, we looked him up, and in 1993 he got done for animal abuse. And now he's got his sister, and his sister's like 60 something, and she's licking a dog's asshole.
It's an epic story, Matt. You really.
Who is this guy?
I think I know.
No, I doubt you know who it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we'll send it around afterwards because he's already threatening to sue every single one of us for harassing him. Even though none of us have had anything to do with it, we just look at his stuff and laugh. We don't actually harass him.
That sounds like harassment to me. I get a lot of girls laugh at me, and that seems to be harassment.
He's one of those.
He's
one
not a
of
big
those.
fat bloke with ginger hair that runs a movie website. Is he?
No,
That's
but
all right.
very similar.
I was going to say that's who I was thinking of.
No.
He thinks he runs a lot of websites. In fact, he just has access to the internet, and that's one of those awful people, who just shouldn't have access to the internet because they don't know what they're doing.
It sounds like he shouldn't have access to oxygen.
Yeah.
Well, in his case too. Yeah, everything he does is so inept that it's like worse than Alan Partridge. It's so sad and tragic and not even
Dean,
hilarious because he's so
Dean,
angry
but
over it.
I know you're going on about this, but remember, it did take you 20 minutes just to join this live stream.
Yeah. No, that's because I was
Same.
trying to use an iPhone to get on.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And so now I'm using like a proper computer. Well, say proper computer. It's like 20 years old and stolen from a police station, but that's another story. I didn't steal it. Somebody else stole it and then sold it on eBay, and I've got it. And
Yeah, so that's legit. You legitimately
It's,
bought
it's,
it.
it's an ex-police computer.
yeah, it came from Brighton Police Station. It's a Sussex
Brighton as
police
well.
station. It had all the
It's probably full of gay porn on now.
it had all the software on there for logging on and everything. You know, for like all the crime bases and everything. You know, so
So what,
after I dumped after I dumped all that out, then I saved it obviously for my own reasons.
A rainy day.
Yeah, I just put in my own hard drive on it, and that's what I'm playing Fallout 3 on, because it's like ideal. It's the ideal time period of those computers for playing it.
With it, just to say that we mentioned Amazon are doing a series on Fallout, which I'm really hoping they nail, because, like you say, have you finished the storyline yet?
Pretty much. I know what happens. I'm not far away from seeing the ending, which is it kind of has a lot of plot holes in it, but well, the whole game has lots of plot holes in it, but
it's still a decent story, and it keeps you engaged all the way through, doesn't it?
yeah. If you get a bottle of Mountain Dew and put those little lights, those sticky light things underneath it, and put the Mountain Dew on top, you can like put the light up through it and make Nuka-Cola.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
As a room decoration. I just thought I'd put that out there because I saw somebody selling them on eBay when I was playing this game. I thought, I'm going to get some souvenirs. Somebody was selling them on eBay for 125 quid. It's a bottle of Mountain Dew with a sticky light underneath. So.
That's all us getting rich tomorrow.
But Sean would say Mountain Dew. But, me, I like to say it the English way because it upsets a whole minority out there, doesn't it? Well, they're not even a minority, but
yes, Kanye.
What I also love about Fallout is I still listen to the soundtrack, because it was kind of set in the 40s, and then because there was this nuclear war, nobody made any new sort of music.
Oh, there's a YouTube channel where this guy just plays 24/7 songs that would be on, that you would hear on that radio station.
But it's great because I love listening to the radio station whilst you're sort of shooting fire-breathing mutant ants and all these other things.
I just want to set the world on fire. And all
exactly.
those, yeah. And it was the same kind of thing. Bethesda, did they do I'm trying to see the game from here. BioShock as well. Wasn't that theirs as well?
Yeah.
I played BioShock. BioShock's good.
Yeah, I finished that one, thank God. But they're all like they're all Lost Father games. They're always looking for the Lost Father or the Lost Daughter or something, They seem to have a fixation about it.
Yeah, well, ironically, that would make a good, diversity crossover then, wouldn't it?
It will, yeah. I was working towards that, because we all know a certain
demographic. Just say demographic.
Yeah, they do have a reputation for absentee fathers.
Anyway,
have you seen the memes, the Spirit Halloween costume memes? Have you seen those yet?
Oh yes.
Yeah, they've been doing the rounds.
Somebody had one, and it was just there was nothing on it. It said "My dad."
I nearly copied that and put that on there because me and Sean were talking earlier, because my dad died 20 years ago, so I was going to put that out for a joke, just to confuse my mum.
I had a friend who bought his mum an inflatable skeleton for Christmas because his dad had died, and it was to remind her of his dead dad.
What?
Fucking hell.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. He's not talking about me this time.
No,
Dean,
no. There's
I was going to say, Dean, have you seen the Repair Shop on BBC?
Well,
you know of it. You know of it.
I know of it. Yeah.
I've always wanted somebody to go in there with just like a jar of ashes, saying, "That's me dad. Can you do anything with it?" Well, you said you could repair anything. I kind of wanted. I was going to say I want them to do a sketch like that, and when they come back in, there's this like crappy cardboard cutout of a man, just with his jaw goes up and they're going, "Hello, son, it's good to see you." Dad,
Well,
is that you?
I've got to bring up something like that. What was that thing we watched? The Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone, who's repairing stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he gets the kid's watch, which was obviously his dad's watch, and his dad died at some superhero's hands at some point in the past, and that's all he left him was this watch that didn't work. And he fixes it. It's a Casio, right? First of all, there's no way he's ever going to fix that. He might be able to weld bins together and stuff, but fixing a Casio watch, unless you've got access to microprocessors and things like that, well, you're not going to do it. Plus, that particular watch, because I looked it up, because it was just bugging me, is notorious for being shite. So it was like one of those things you throw in the bin anyway. And but he fixes it for the kid, and then doesn't give it back to him. And it goes off in the station that reminds him he's got to go back and save the kid and all that. It's a plot device, but it just really annoyed me that we should imagine that Sylvester Stallone, who pulls things out of bins and fixes toasters, could fix micro Japanese electronics. Just unless it's just putting a battery in it, which I imagine was the case. I fixed your watch, put battery in it.
Right, but coming back to, because we've gone off point like we always do, of Cabinet of Curiosities. Sean, you've seen a couple, haven't you? You've seen the first two.
Yeah.
And Dean, you haven't seen any of them yet.
Oh no, I probably won't either because I'm blind.
Oh, that must make movie reviewing very difficult.
Yeah, it does. It's not my proudest fap, but
so far, I was going to say, so far the series has been very, very good. It amazes me how some people can write a show like She-Hulk and have absolutely zero entertainment quality over 3 or 4 hours, but these directors and writers in the space of 50 minutes can make a brilliantly compelling story which you are absolutely hooked on all the way through.
They're very reminiscent of the EC Comics Tales for the Crypt kind of thing. You get these short little, so far the ones I've seen have been these short little morality tales, more or less. Very very Lovecraftian. The first one extremely Lovecraftian, the second one too, but oh yeah, they're great, man.
I'm just going to remind myself of so the first one is called Lot 36.
Yeah.
The plot description says an ex-vet, I think they mean veteran, not somebody who worked on animals, buys a storage locker containing contents to pay off his debts, but buys more than they bargained for when he purchased the lot owned by a strange old man, which doesn't give away a lot at all.
No.
Yeah, in fact, that sounds pretty lame, but the real story is that the lot was a Nazi occultist that fled World War II and has a demon trapped in the back of it. And they go in there and he slowly figures it out, and they accidentally, let this Lovecraftian horror loose, and it's fucking awesome.
It was great. It was really good. I liked how Tim Blake Nelson was this ex-vet. He was kind of an arsehole, and so you kind of, I don't want to say you didn't like him, but I mean, he kind of got his comeuppance. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's so far the first two anyway. Very morality tales, it's EC Comics. Oh, the main character we're following is a shit heel, and then the thing, which in a way is kind of weird to me because all the bad stuff that happens to him, you're kind of like, oh yeah, the stakes are kind of low to me because they make these people be the kind of people you want to see die or horrible. You know what I mean? It's make it like little Timmy that's trying to get some money for a new prosthetic leg or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Somebody who's been sweet and nice their whole life, and then just to crush them into the realities of what life is actually about.
And then the second one is this grave robber that it's a little harder to explain that one.
I mean, he's the way I've been describing it to people is he's a grave robber, and so he sort of, when somebody has been buried, he goes and digs them up and takes all their trinkets out that they've been buried with, like their gold teeth and jewelry and stuff. But then he's on the score for a guy who's going to be buried with a priceless sword and so forth. But when he gets there, the body's gone because it's been basically taken by rats, and so
Yeah.
he goes down after it.
Yeah, and then and it turns out he falls in this underground cathedral of like something like the Cthulhu
Black
cult
magic
worship.
or-
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so the rats are real smart, and this obvious entity that this church is dedicated to underground kind of controls them, and he gets in. He has many adventures trying to survive that, and it's damn good too.
I'm not scared of rats. I'm not bothered by rats, but I was very much like, ooh, just sort of no, and squirming a little bit. It was a good episode.
Yeah,
I'll check
it's
that out then.
you should. It's you can watch them, and they're not. It's it's
On Netflix.
Yeah, it's an anthology, so you can watch one episode. Or there's no like, I don't have to.
I did
Not
want
to
to watch
go
it
in-
the other night, but the wife was a bit like, "Oh, don't all that scary shit." And then we ended up watching The Watcher on Netflix.
Did you just beat the shit out of her when she acts like that?
Well, my knuckles just a little bit red, yeah.
Has to be done. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Yes,
But I find that if you punch him in the guts, it doesn't mark as much, and obviously no one can see it. So.
No, what you got to do is punch him in the asshole. Not in the ass, but in the asshole.
That sounds like something Paul Pelosi gets up to.
I was actually watching a series of videos about some gay serial killer who wasn't Dharma, who killed his last victim by fisting him.
Oh, fuck me.
Hold
on a minute. Hold on a minute. Why would you want to watch that?
Oh, it's like I have these things as bedtime stories. My wife my wife watches them for like information, I think, but I watch them for
Educational tips.
Yeah, she's like planning. But I was watching this, and the guy took notes about everything. Like he'd put down like cucumber rape, would be used in cucumber, carrot rape, front rape. He just like he did 6 victims. He was like famous for it.
Is this
He
real? Was this a true
Yeah,
story?
this is real. Yeah, and there is a movie of it, but I can't honestly tell
Is
you.
it?
Yeah, there's a. He was something beginning with B. His name like Bertolucci or something like that, or something Italian.
Billy the Bull. This was
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
But there's another YouTuber called Shrouded Hand who did a 2-part thing on it, and he was very good in reading all these details. And I listened to him because he's just got the right voice for sending me to sleep. He's not boring, but he's just like tonally, like
Okay.
everybody has a certain tone that will like send them to sleep. For me, it's any podcast at all, really. But
For me, it's a child crying.
or a baby being cooked in the oven. That's,
Yeah, exactly.
that was one of his stories as well.
You know what?
But-
You know what's red and white and screams like an Indian?
An Indian.
A baby in a blender.
Oh,
Fucking hell.
I really want to see Yoda's face when he's editing this tomorrow to put it up as clips on.
He won't. He'll just
This-
delete it.
This will not make the clip shows. Yeah.
just add words like randomly, like clitoris. And he's got to just edit out all those words. Like
Apparently,
every time
somebody,
we drop one
that
in.
you've got those like 10-hour-long videos of blank that some people upload to YouTube and stuff. Apparently, some people have been reporting them saying, I think there's offensive language in the middle of it. So, of course, somebody's saying sort of like,
Has to listen to 10 hours of nothing.
that's good trolling, that is. That's proper trolling.
Scrotum.
Okay, so the third episode, which has probably been my favorite so far, is called Autopsy. And it's described as a seasoned sheriff investigates a dead body in the woods and calls his old pal, a medical examiner, to help piece together the series of chilling events. Right, doesn't cover the story at all. It's about aliens, funny enough, but like aliens
Okay.
that live inside you and can use you as a host. And
Right.
I really
Oi.
like this one.
Oy vey. Disavow.
That's the hidden, isn't it?
Yeah.
And V to some
Yeah.
extent.
Oh, I
Kind
see.
of. Yeah.
And
Oh, yes.
and
basically,
Alien.
Men in Black.
And
Men in
all of
Black.
our lizard overlords. All hail Zuckerberg.
I reckon Elon Musk is an alien. Just look at him. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how would he
Yeah.
have that much money? You know, you just can't get that much money, can you? Think about it logically. How would any normal person have that amount of money to spend on anything, including Twitter or Tesla or launching cars into space or anything?
Well, apparently he made his money from PayPal, didn't he?
He did. He started out from PayPal, and then
So I mean, PayPal. When
Well-
you think PayPal now is taking a small transaction of all, taking a small chunk of all transactions made, that's a lot of money rolling in.
Well, they're also they're fining you, aren't they? Taking something like $2.5 grand for if you post anything misinformation and blah blah.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk, I read that his dad owned like an emerald mining
yeah.
facility. So he's not come from nothing like they like to portray it. He's
Yeah.
born rich.
Why are
That's-
you picking on a African American like that? You racist.
I
I
always
like
think of. I always think of.
Oh, he's fucking hilarious. First thing he did at Twitter was sack him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
It always reminds me. I think he was called Dwight Goodman, Ben Stiller's character in Dodgeball, when he says, "I built this company out of nothing but hard work and sweat and $4 million from my parents." You know, it's like, yeah, real self-made man.
I don't
next
think I don't think Elon's going to do anything like with Twitter. He's just going to leave it as it is because
Yeah.
the money's just going to still keep rolling in. He's just going to it changes software team or whatever for the sake of it, give them better jobs.
I think
maybe.
I think in 6 months we'll see it's more of like meet the new boss, same as the old boss kind of thing. Hopefully I'm
Yeah.
wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I've already been banned off of it, so
Dan, me.
Oh, I've got multiple accounts that have been banned for years.
yeah.
It's a
See, I'm
shithole
nice.
anyway. I don't know why anyone
I'm
would
nice
go on there.
there, and so my account's still doing well.
Well, we're
Oh,
working
no, I've
on
gone. I've gone.
we're,
Sorry.
we're working on that, Phil.
No,
You can't.
no.
You can't even ask a question on there now without being banned. You can't put in like, "What is a woman?" You're just gone. You know.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The fourth episode was Vagina. So I'm just taking Dean's thing just to annoy Yoda.
Smegma. Smegma.
The Outside. And this was basically about a lady who was buying lotion that was supposed to make her beautiful. And
I like where
this
this
was
is going.
it was a good episode because it was quite twisted in the way it was done, and I really liked the way it played out. It had a bit of a weird ending, though. The actual final scene was a bit weird. But another good episode. Pixman's model. Well, do you know what this had? And I was really pleased to see him because I always like seeing him turn about. Crispin Glover.
Mm.
Oh, nice.
I know, and it was like, oh,
Did he do the Friday the 13th dance?
no.
You've never seen Friday the 13th Part 4 where he does the infamous dance scene?
No.
God damn it, Dean! I'm dealing. See what I have to deal with.
I
every
thought it was
week.
part 2, wasn't it?
No. Part 2 is he doesn't show up till part.
The only one I've seen is part 2. That's the one with the cat that jumps out the fridge or something.
Part 3 is my favorite of the series. Just in case anybody was wondering.
I
Cat
like
jumps
the
out of the
fact.
fridge. Was it set in a Chinese restaurant?
I don't know what it is. Like either it's a fridge or a closet or something. It's like the only one that's they always
There's a
say,
pussy in the closet. What?
Yeah, they always say there's these cat jump scares in all these horror films, but there's not. That's like one of 2. There's only like 2 actual cat jump scares. That's one, and there's one in
The Cat in the Brain.
and End of Days. End of Days.
Oh, yeah.
That one. That's a disused refrigerator for some reason that Arnold Schwarzenegger opens and
okay.
jumps at him. So they put them in cupboards and that. And it's just
The only
not
time
that
I've had a
great.
pussy scare was with my friend Dave.
Well, did he have one?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
'Cause
he thought he didn't have one, and it turns.
Yeah.
A bit like
Well,
Blair
it-
White. A bit like Blair White, really.
Yeah. He thought he had one, but it turns out he did.
It
was a
wasn't
bit
until
of-
Phil pulled out and he had shit all over his hamster that he realised that Dave had been lying.
I saw a lot of hate towards Blair White recently online. Most of it from Sean, but
I don't even know who he is. Who's Blair White?
one of these political grifters who looks like a woman but isn't.
I'm going to Google it.
Right. Well, like
Yeah.
Tranning.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's the thing. This one's had a lot of plastic surgery and stuff, so he does really look like what he's supposed to be. But
Right. Okay.
but still got the bits, the meat and two
Oh,
veg.
he's not. He's
It's-
not had it
it's-
chopped off then. So
No.
Hang on. Is it on YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah, very
Okay.
famous. Yeah,
And
Right,
we
okay.
better be very careful how we word things going forward, talking about another YouTuber. So
yeah, because I watch Blair White quite religiously. I quite like the content on it because he's not.
her, we're on YouTube right now.
He doesn't go by her, does he?
Oh, I don't
He's-
know. I haven't been.
He
watching.
always says that he's a trans woman. He's not a real woman. He's against transgender things.
pronouns.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I suppose if you saw him in somewhere, you would refer to him as her because he looks like a her, but he's a he. So
he's just a transvestite then, not a trans.
No, it's about half and half kind of thing.
it's hard to explain because he is one, but he's against other
Ugh.
people being one.
I'm just looking at pictures of it. It's
Yeah, I know. That's what I've just looking
It's
at
got
pictures, and I'm thinking,
You sure it's not had its
I'd-
nuts cut?
I'd fall for that.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, as people go, and there's been a lot of work done, obviously, and you can follow it all through the story. I mean, I've got nothing against Blair White at all, but it's such a weird situation that it's like she exposes that this isn't a good thing to do, and yet
Right.
that particular person is making a lot of money from that.
I've just
know.
clicked on her Instagram account, and it's basically her showing off her body mostly, and it is kind of very much a sex sales thing.
Yeah,
And so maybe she doesn't want other people transitioning so that she can just carry on making money off it. I don't.
I've got
Yeah.
a picture of her with a midget.
Blair is very much a right wing commentator grifter. Now that doesn't mean that a lot of what Blair says is wrong, but it is what it is. Blair's still kind of it's like that. It's that whole like shtick, like like Candace Owens falls into, where or Tim Pool is a better example. And
Right.
Yoda would get mad at me for this, but Tim is a leftist that realized that he could get very rich by pandering to
Yeah.
right wing boomers, and that's what he does. And I think Blair has got a lot of that in her.
I don't know whether Blair says that he wants to be called a she or not, because he says he's legally male. He
Well,
often repeats that. So if he's legally male, that's a he, isn't it? I mean, it
Who
and he-
knows anymore, man?
and refers to himself as a trap. So
Yeah,
What
he
you've
does.
what you've got to do
What's a
is
trap?
basically is follow them around and then just see which toilet they go into a pub or whatever. Into a
Hold
bar.
on. This doesn't make sense. I'm just looking at it on Wikipedia. It's got White is engaged to a fellow YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. Her mother's side of the family is supportive of her and her transition. Then White has expressed the desire to have kids in the future through surrogacy or adoption and has discussed her struggle with infertility due to the effects of hormones.
Yeah, Blair had just bear with me. Blair had his sperm frozen because he said that the taking all that estrogen, of course, was going to render his sperm sterile. So he wants to have kids. So he obviously Blair knows that Blair can't give birth, but Blair wants to, have kids. So Blair, it's
We live in such a weird society, don't we? I grew up in a nuclear family of a mother and a father and 2.4 children. And nowadays it's, his transitioned post-op pre-transgender dad is frozen the sperm of it's like what?
Well, as
That's
far as I'm concerned, you are what you're born as, and that's it. I mean, you can say you're something else, but you're not going to be that, are you? Really? Only in
think
your
I-
own mind, you might be.
A man who identified as Batman got beaten up today.
Well, it's just a suit. It's just a man in a suit after all.
I don't know,
so-
but he identified as Batman, but he just
Yeah.
didn't have the skills.
Well, isn't Bruce Wayne just identifying as Batman? I mean, he wasn't
Yeah.
born a Batman.
No. unlike Spider-Man, who actually no, he wasn't born a spider either, was he? So
No, that's right.
he was just bitten.
He's a trans spider. He actually had a
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
I get-
transition,
yeah. He transitioned through.
I find
Well,
the whole thing is fascinating to me. I mean, I don't have anything against them, but it's kind of weird, and it's weird that it's such a big thing at the moment that.
What gets me is I mean, I watched What Is a Woman by Matt Walsh, and I do watch some of Matt Walsh's videos because I do quite like him. But I mean, what gets me about it is 10 years ago, you maybe had like literally a handful, maybe like 100 or so people suffering with gender
Suffer
dysmorphia.
from
No, hear me out. What I'm saying is
mentally ill.
no. 10 years ago, you actually had people who were genuinely suffering with this condition. And like I say, it may be in the hundreds, but now it's like trendy. You now have people suffering with it. And it's like, really? Because, like I say, 10 years ago, this wasn't an issue. You had some people who did go through it, but now it's another bandwagon to jump on.
You should
think
say you should say 20 years ago, because 10 years ago we were right in the middle of this still. Like,
Okay,
Yeah. You wait
20 years
for
ago.
10 years' time when all the lawsuits start coming out and they realise what fucking mistake they made. I think
still
it's
love
nothing
the
but
one-
depravity.
I still love the one with what's it called? It had Abe Simpson, and it had him
Yeah.
saying it's sort of like in 50 years' time you're going to get up a lot of men going, and then I cut my penis off, which was the style at the time.
Well, the thing that really gets to me about it is there's some that pass, like when they've had all the stuff done, that they could pass for
from a distance.
yeah, or even up close. Some of them have got like the right amount of chromosomes or the wrong amount of chromosomes, and they do pass. But there's some, they're like 7 foot tall with beards, and it's like there's no way,
I don't like where this is going, Dean.
Well, yeah, and especially when it comes to sports stuff. Now, this is where I'm on Sharon Davis's side over this, because there shouldn't be men competing in women's sports, pretending
not
that
at all.
saying that they're women, just
Yeah.
because it's easier for them to beat the women.
The
It's always
greatest
easy.
argument.
Yeah.
The greatest argument against this is the fact that there have been no women who want to transition into men and compete in the men's sport. It's always men who want to compete against women.
I think we're veering way off of movie discussion here.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say.
it's in lots of movies. I mean, you can have Sleepaway Camp for one thing. You could have
We talked about that last week, didn't we?
the Chucky thing, the one with Seed of Chucky that had a transgender doll, whatever. Was it a transgender doll, or was it just like an asexual one? I don't know what it
I
was.
I've
don't
only seen the
remember
first two.
Um,
Okay, so let's get back on point then. Gamillenario's Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. I've just got up to the Dreams of the Witch House, which is starring Rupert Grint, and this was quite good. But I felt the ending was very let down. It just kind of didn't know how to finish, like a Stephen King film or like a Stephen King story, and so I wasn't massively sort of blown away by it, unfortunately, at the end. And then I've still
Are
got
they on weekly?
no.
One episode a
Well,
week, is it?
they were trickling them out, but I think they've now got them all streaming in time for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
So there's 7 episodes in total. No, hang on, is it 7 or 8?
8. There was 8. I
sorry.
remember. Yeah, there was 8.
1, 2,
Right. Okay.
3.
I'll have to check these out.
Yeah, it's really
Okay.
good. You like them.
It's like I say, for an I mean, they don't do anthologies very often as well, and so I'm finding, like, as we all know, my attention span is as short as a gnat. That if it's dragging on too long, I'm just losing interest. I did drag myself through Dharma because I felt that was really, really far too long a series.
I've just
I like-
finished that. I wasn't
I-
impressed with the last episode.
Yeah, but the rest of it was pretty good though, wasn't it?
I
Rest of
think
it
he
was
should.
good.
I think he should have killed a few more. Made it, go for season 2.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
maybe,
Return.
maybe have a prequel.
I haven't finished it yet, Dean. What happens at the end of the first season? Spoilers.
I think he goes to prison.
Yeah.
Just a suspicion of mine, but just judging by the first episode, I think he
John-
gets arrested. Yeah,
John Wayne Gacy makes a cameo appearance in it, even too.
Yes.
yeah.
Really?
The original Clown World.
Yeah.
But again, that was a series. It really started to drag for me in the middle.
You know why? You know why it bothered you? Because you're gay.
No,
And a lot of these serial killers
it's just-
are gay.
I was going to say no. It's
Yeah.
not that. It's just I get my murders done much quicker. I don't faff around with the whole let's watch Exorcist 3 again. Just get on with it.
So many of these serial killers are gay, so it's
They are.
weird, isn't it? And they're always killing other gays, and yet they're supposed
Doing
to
God's
be
work.
they're supposed to be part of the left that's all like tolerant and loving of each other, and yet
Yep.
Matt,
the LGBTs are all killing each other.
right, I'm
Yeah,
just going
it's
to say,
weird,
Matt, sorry, Matt, I'm just going to say that I donated the other day to the LGBT community, and I, for one, hope they find a cure.
I
Sorry,
think
I saw-
that if you notice that the whole thing doesn't make any sense now because it's LGBT, but they've got if there's a bisexual in it, that means there's only two genders, so that means the
Yeah.
T bit doesn't count anymore, all the gender spectrum things. So, bisexual, that it's there. It's like they're contradicting themselves in their
Oh,
name.
that's glorious, isn't it?
I'm all for the LGBT, but I prefer Samsung. So,
I'm just waiting for them to have the guts to actually add a P to the end. We all know where that's going.
No, they will. That's what do you think the plus is for?
Well,
I-
exactly that.
I just had
Exactly
to
that.
capture one of those. I was playing another game, an old one called Black and White from 2001,
Oh,
where
dear,
you
I
have
remember.
to get this creature that you've got on a leash and capture a French paedophile who's stealing children and putting them in a cave. And not whatever you choose to do with the paedophile after you've caught him, your creature will just eat him. And I thought that was a great piece of social commentary back in 2001 in that Black and White game.
Can you
But-
talk to him?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, You could, and he goes, "Oh no, you big monster, keep away from me," because he's Spanish, obviously. And
Obviously.
he's French. He's supposed to be French,
All right.
and
Oh, even better, Matt. There you go.
And I'm
Perfect.
sure it was put in there because this is an English company made Black and White. It was Peter Molyneux who did Bullfrog and the Dungeon Keeper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure it was in there as a knock against the French, and also a bit later on there was a scene where these pirates go away in a boat, and when you see the little clip, they're doing the Titanic scene at the front with the arms out and everything. And I thought there's lots of little in jokes in it that I've been spotting along the way because this is a 22-year-old game, and again I got it for free the other day off one of these websites that just gives away games.
What site is it?
TorrentCrackGames.com.
It's called epicgames.com. They've got all these free games. And there's GOG.com. They have a load of free games as well. So
Nice.
you just you log in, make an account, and then you just type in the word free, and you'll find a ton of stuff to just download. And it's all like AAA titles from over the years, some even like only a couple years old. And
I kind of want to do that, but at the same time, I'm going to have the same problem as Dean and then just never get any work done for ages.
I thought I was going to have DVTs in my legs from like that kid who died after 20 hours of sitting playing something on the Xbox. I was glued to these things. I just couldn't leave them alone, so I've just had to like stop now because otherwise my life would just end in Fallen 3. I'll just be wandering around that thing, shooting anything that I can for like the rest of eternity. Is just be. I don't know what I'm doing.
When they make games as good as that. I really love sandbox games as well. The whole, just do whatever you want, and then you sort of like, there's a main story to do. Is there? Oh, level 200, and it's like, oh, there's a main story. Oh right, I'll go back and do that then.
We can just keep building up all these guns and things, like big, massive weapons, and then like you just cream everything in sight, and then you run out of ammunition, and you have to go and get some because you're being chased by giant, big, rad scorpions. That's what they're called, rad scorpions. And they're like
collecting bottle caps, isn't it?
Yeah, and there was a bit where I met this girl who had a Nuka-Cola museum, and the guy wanted to employ me to collect bottle caps to give to her so he could shag her. I thought, this is like a kid's game, isn't it? I was pretty sure it was a kid's game, but then the further into it you go, the more swearing there is, and there's like rednecks who want to bum you and eat you. I'll say the rednecks. They don't even have necks. They
The hillbillies in, like sure.
yeah.
No,
hillbillies, yeah.
that's offensive.
Well,
When you say it like that, it sounds like a bad thing.
next year's be saying that incest is a bad thing, you know.
No, you'll never hear that from me.
No, I didn't think so. No.
Yeah.
It depends who you're incesting with, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You don't want to do it with your brother. You know.
Right.
I did hear
Your dad.
No, I was just going to say I read a great one the other day, and it said somebody asked the question, "What's the worst thing you've ever done?" And somebody replied and said, "My wife is a twin, and one night I got so drunk, I had sex with their dad." Love it when jokes do that. Right. Anyway, so I'm going to get so chewed out by Yoda tomorrow when he sits through
All
this to
sucked
try and
off.
edit this down.
He might suck you off, mate. You give you a good gobbling.
No, I won't get that from him.
Remember, spitters are quitters.
No, I was going to say, if I was to expose that to him, I'd lose it because he's going to kill me for not keeping more control over. It's probably not a good idea to have Yoda and then Sean and Dean on at the same time.
I don't know what he talks about half the time because he's on about Star Wars a lot, and I don't know what Star Wars is because
You're blind.
I'm blind and also have
and can't read.
and can't read, and there's like 87,000 different Star Wars series or things, or like spin-offs and comics and action figures, and they all got lives of their own, and I don't understand any of it.
That's the point I'm getting to.
It's a bit like this. What have we got now? We got a Marvel universe thing, and we got a DC universe thing, multiverse, both of them. And this Black Adam. Did you do a show on Black Adam?
Yoda watched it and he said it was actually all right.
I thought Shazam was a Marvel character.
No, he's DC.
Oh. Well, that's how much I know.
You're getting confused because Shazam used to be called Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
We've had a comment.
And then Marvel have got Captain Marvel.
Hello, Robert. Happy Halloween to you too. Thank you for joining us.
But anyway, that Black Adam, I enjoyed that. Anyway, I just throw that out there. I thoroughly enjoyed that because I like The Rock and I think he's great in everything. And they are.
It's not. I thought that the last series they did of Black Adam was the one where it's set in World War II, and they all got killed, Baldrick and Black Adam and everybody else. Or am I confusing that with something else?
Yeah, that and it was the saddest episode of that too. Strangely enough.
Yeah. Oh no. Right. Yeah, that's Blackadder.
Yeah, but it was very good, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And everybody else hates it in the world. Everybody who's like into movies and into comics and stuff hated Black Adam, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the woman in it, I don't know, the one who played the mother, I don't know her name, but I could watch her in anything for like days.
I'm like that with some actresses. I'm quite like I say. You see some people, and the girl in that Terrifier 2 I was telling Sean about, Lauren Lavera, I think she's called. I could watch her in it. I could watch her read the phone book. She was lovely. She was great.
You like that ginger bird as well, though, don't you?
Oh, do you know what though? You say that. Yesterday we watched The Good Nurse, where her and Eddie Redmayne, based on a true story about Eddie Redmayne was basically a serial killer, killing people in hospital, and she
Right.
found out about it. And I must admit, watching it, I was thinking,
Is it a true story?
yeah, it was actually really good. The film was brilliant. Eddie Redmayne was really, really good in it. Very much like Jeffrey Dahmer, really.
Right.
And it sort of he was just killing people, and basically just putting stuff in their saline solution that was supposed to be keeping them alive. So technically, he wasn't killing them, but it wasn't like him doing it, but he was causing it. And at the end, basically, they said that he may have had up to about 400 victims that he killed.
Lucky
Nice.
bastard.
You want to get a job in a hospital, Sean? That's what it is.
Kind of now I do, yeah.
Become the new Harold Shipman. He was he was pretty good. He was
Yeah.
Say what you will about Harold Ship. Oh no, I was thinking of Fred West. I was going to say what you will about Fred West, but that man could lay a good patio.
I think he's one of the worst ones we've ever had, Fred West, because that's just kind of nasty. You know, that whole thing is really nasty. It's not just bumping off a few old people who are like at the end of their time anyway.
Phil's mum looks like Rose West.
No, she does not.
You showed us a picture the other week.
You could barely see it. You could only see like her chin.
That's all it took.
Well, it could be worse. She could look like Barry George.
Did you
Let's
just kick?
not-
What happened to Matt?
I don't know. I didn't
I
kick
don't know.
him.
No, this
He's
thing
probably
keeps playing
touched-
up though, doesn't it?
Oh, here he goes. He's back again. All right, dumb nuts. What you do? What
Oh,
does
Dad.
quit? What does quit stream mean? Oh, he's gone.
You was all out of sync, and then I pressed the refresh button without.
Yeah,
realising
one
it
of the
had
easy
come.
ways to cure it is to press Alt and F4 at the same time. That works. Yeah.
I don't even
We were
know
just
what
saying
means.
about that. About
Yeah,
I used
what,
to
I
play.
don't, yeah, what does that mean? I don't. What happens?
Oh, it used to be on Internet Explorer. You press Alt and F4, and it just closes the browser straight away. It's
Oh.
like gone. And he's like,
I was
what?
I was saying to Sean earlier, what I used to play a role playing game, Star Wars Galaxies, and if you used to say to people, "Oh man, if you press Control and F8, you get free money." So of course you just see these people suddenly dropping offline.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And of course, now with the Control Alt Delete thing, right, that doesn't do anything anymore. It brings up a task manager, so you can't ruin people's lives with that anymore. Like,
Boring.
yeah,
I remember once getting an email from a friend, and it said, "I'm not clever enough to write a virus, so go to your Systems 32 file and just delete some stuff." Oh yeah, all
Ye-
right.
years and years ago, and I shouldn't admit to it because I'll probably still get prosecuted, but I was banned from AOL for life. Right, because when I first logged on it, I didn't know anything about computers. Well, I did, but not enough. And I went in a chat room and some on AOL chat, and I said, "How do I put up a website on this?" And he said, "Oh, well, you've got to go into such and such a folder, and like you'll find some other folders in there, and just delete them to make room for your own." So I followed the link and everything. I went in, and I started deleting everything in sight. It was the core of AOL's thing, right? Like not on my computer, but on their server. Like it put AOL down for like a month. Right.
What?
And this was back in '97. And anyway, I got banned forever for that, for hacking and all sorts of things, because I didn't even know what I was doing. I was in it I had a free disc off the cover of a magazine. And
It's
I was
kind
in
of the
it.
worst thing in it when you go onto like some
Yeah.
YouTube things, and it's like, "How do I fix this?" Go simply go into your file and delete this and this, and it's like, "Oh, my computer's really buggered up. Oh,
Well,
I should have
I
looked at the
just-
dislikes."
I just saw all these folders. I didn't know what they meant, so I just like highlighted everything, just deleted them. And just for some reason, like it was still cached. The software was still cached, so it was still working for me. But like all over the world, I'm sure people were like disappearing.
Having a small heart attack. And Dean's
it's like-
happy away going delete, 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 delete.
And I got these lawyer letters and things, and
Wow, they really went for it then.
yeah, they really went for it, and as soon after I got a job as a web developer, but which was odd and ironic, but you know, I didn't know what I was doing. People would tell you such lies online.
No.
You know,
No, I completely disagree with that, Dean. I don't know where you're coming off with that.
Fucking
but I was completely oblivious to how any of this stuff worked. You know, it was just you just believe what you're told, don't you? It's like that makes sense to me. I got no room to put up my folder, so I delete all these and. It's just,
That sounds like something. That sounds exactly like something that would happen to my dad or something. You know, had he been
Yeah.
on.
I genuinely had a phone call.
How somebody even worked out that was a physical possibility, that they would have that link to be able to send me that link to do it, and yet they never did it.
Well, they wanted you to
but-
take the blame instead of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to think I probably wasn't the only one at the same time, but it might have just been me the only one. It's just my luck, you know.
Yeah.
The devil came.
I have
looking for me that
genuinely
day.
had a phone call from my mum saying, I've had an email from Nigeria. No, delete it, mum. Oh,
Don't you
God.
want to hear what it says first?
No, you know, but he says he's got money held. No, just oh God, delete it, please. If it's not one thing, it's your mother.
Guys, can we wrap this up? Because something has kind of come up here that I'm going to have to. You guys can continue without me, or can we wrap it up? Either
No, I
one?
don't
No.
want to wrap it up. I want to talk more filth. I
Okay.
want to talk filthy stuff and talk about you while you're gone.
That sounds
Oh,
good.
that's true.
You
That's
guys,
true, yeah.
I'm sorry, I got to bow out, but you guys go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right,
See you
mate.
later.
I'll
Take care, mate.
see you later.
Yeah,
IBS.
let's make
IBS,
this
that's what
the
it is.
filthiest. You know, we're all English, you see. Now we can like really up our game. You know, we can.
I say,
So,
Chopper, we can finally get rid of it. I can stop doing that bloody awful accent.
Yeah, we don't have to translate things anymore. And we can just be like culturally
I was
relevant
gonna-
to our own
I was
country.
going to, for my Halloween costume, I was going to be Sean.
Yeah. It's
And then say
uncanny.
things like master class stuff.
No, the only thing that's weird about Sean is we didn't start off as friends. So we started off as like I hated him
Lovers?
because he kept posting stuff about
Right.
guns, and
Right.
I just went at him about his gun stuff, and strangely enough, like now I'm into his gun stuff, but you know I make memes for him with guns in because this is what I do.
So you're responsible for the stuff that he posts up on what's it called? Up on Instagram and that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
He
Please stop.
he asked me to do it, and I've got nothing better to do, so I make all that filth for him. And
Oh,
in fact, I probably churn out about 1,000 memes a day for different people and different sites. And like, if you've seen a meme, it's usually me. I'm
Oh,
also
that's
the one.
funny.
I'm also the one that caused the rumor about James Earl Jones dying. Well, the one that got me in so much trouble, but and various other things. But that was something
I
I
must
did.
admit, the other day, this news came out that Shelley Duvall was returning to acting after 20 years, and the photo they put up, I didn't read the headline, and I looked at it and I thought, oh, she must have died.
Yeah.
she looks rough as, and yeah, I was
She's always
completely
looks
wrong.
rough anyway, though.
Yeah, she wasn't the prettiest of ladies, was she?
No.
But I'm still not sure that James Earl Jones isn't dead. I haven't heard anything
He's
from
just
him.
retired, though.
Oh, well, I know Dave Prowse is dead, so that's half of him gone. then.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Dave Prowse used to own a model shop, like a model figurines shop. Where he was like he invested in it, you know, some of his money, and it's called Creature something, and they used a load
It was
of
called The Secrets of George Lucas.
Yeah, strangely, it has another tie-in to Star Wars because it was based out of Pinewood Studios with a load of sculptors from Pinewood Studios who made all these
right.
really good sculpts. And back in the 90s, I bought a load of model kits from them. And Dave Prowse wasn't really very keen on people going on about him being Darth Vader back then. And then he changed his mind about it. But it's funny that there's a lot of them, they like kind of hate being associated with a role. And then they change their
I
mind.
can kind of understand that. I remember seeing a documentary on, since Sean's not here, I saw a documentary on Father Ted, and Mrs. Doyle, whose name Pauline, I can't remember her name now, but Mrs. Doyle kind of wants nothing to do with the show anymore now. And they had all the main cast back. I think they did interviews with Dermot. Oh, what's his name? Father Ted, I can't think of his name now, but they did all these interviews. But yeah, she had nothing to do with it, and it was ever so strange because you sort of think, you know, it was like a huge role, which kind of everybody loves her for, but you know, like I say, yeah, she wanted nothing to do with it, and it's odd.
It's a bit like, you know, Sean Connery not wanting to be Bond again, and I think, well, Daniel Craig was always saying he never wanted to be James Bond again. He kept on doing it though, as long as they kept up in the money. Yeah,
That's one of those scenarios, isn't it, where it's kind of like, are you sure you don't want to be James Bond? Look at all this cash.
yeah, they're straight in there
Oh,
again.
golly.
He'd probably come back for the next one. You know, he's saying he's retired from it. He's never going to do it. He will.
That's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the movies, Phil. They can do anything.
Oh, that's true.
yeah, because we didn't actually.
I was going to say, it was all
see
just
his
a
demise.
dream.
Yeah, we didn't actually see his demise, so you know he's still out there, and he
I know
just
they
can't.
they were toying around with the idea of cloning him, wasn't they? I don't know if that was just a clickbait article, but
Let me just say, I just want to do my favourite James Bond joke then, whilst we're here. In the new one, they are going to have a trans person change James Bond, so that the 007 number will it'll be start out as a man, but by the end of the movie, it's going to transition into a woman. It's going to be called Coctopussy.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
But
sweet Jesus.
I wanted to see Idris Elba do it. Like I wanted, but I don't care about any of these stupid things. I just want to see Idris Elba do it because he was so good in Luther or whatever it's called. You know.
See, I never watched Luther, and to me, Idris Elba, and it's a horrible thing to say, but to me, he's just nothing but a sellout. Because over here in the UK, he's been doing all those adverts for like holiday magazines and whatnot,
Sky TV and everything else.
Yeah, I think to myself, oh man, you're so much better than this, you know.
See, I got into an argument with someone on the website about this James Bond thing because I said James Bond is a white man. Yeah. Because people are going on about it, employing black blokes and blah blah blah. No, just James Bond's a white man. Just leave it at that. Stop all this race swapping shit. It gets on my nerves.
It's not just that. It's like we had the article up the other day about the whole Daniel Craig's character in Glass Onion. You know, he's now gay, and it's kind of like who is asking these questions? At no point in any film have I ever watched. Like I'm watching Commando and then thinking, I wonder which way he swings. Never crossed my mind, you know.
And also, as a reason, it's acting. You know, if they're one way or another, it doesn't matter because what they've been on screen is something completely different. That's the art of it. You know,
I was going to say no. I'm talking about the character because apparently the character in this Glass Onion is gay, and it's like, but is that relevant?
It's irrelevant. Yeah, totally irrelevant. But the funny thing is, they're dying by the. They keep claiming authenticity and only hiring people that should be. Daniel Craig is a white heterosexual married father, and he's now gay. So it's like, well, make your mind up. What rules do you want to play by here? You can't just pick and choose.
Apparently that's what people have. Apparently, some people have been doing that in Hollywood now. They've just been coming out so they can get roles. It wouldn't surprise me because it is kind of like that reminds me of what's his name. Troy McClure from The Simpsons, when it's like, they're looking for a role, but he's got to be a married man. Well, I can do that. Yeah, we can get married, and and it's just kind of that's what Hollywood is like these days, isn't it?
But I never would have guessed back in the day that a lot of them were gay, like Rock Hudson. I never saw that. That was like,
James
I
Dean.
did, yeah, Freddie Mercury as well.
That was a shocker.
Yeah,
Hang on, what?
I couldn't have worked that one out. In a band
Yeah.
called Queen. I couldn't
Yeah.
have worked that. That was George Michael. Never saw that happening.
That was a revelation.
Yeah. What's his name? The one who died, the Dale Winton. Well, they all died, but Dale Winton. I didn't know he was gay.
Is he dead? I didn't even know he was dead.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
died recently. Yeah.
Yeah, and Larry Grayson. He wasn't gay.
Larry Grayson?
Yeah, he wasn't gay.
Awesome.
No way.
No, not even a little bit. It was all just his shtick. Like
I was going to say, I want to see him going backstage, going, "Oh bloody hell, I hate this job."
Yeah,
it was
that's all that.
remember
Yeah,
there was,
shut
there
that
was
fucking door.
Duncan Norvell. Remember him? Chase me. See if you can catch me. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not gay.
No, I knew he wasn't gay.
Weird.
There was a lot of them that weren't, and then there were some who, now you find out that they really were, and it was a lot worse than you imagine. Like Kenneth Williams, he was. I didn't think Kenneth Williams was, but it turns out he really was. And he
Yeah, he was
just
gay
kept
than
it.
Oh,
Christmas.
no, yeah.
He just
Oh,
really
just-
kept it quiet.
Oh no, I was going to say, I would have guessed Kenneth Williams.
Frankie Howard, another one. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
oh,
say
no,
that.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew he was a shirt lifter.
Benny Hill, possibly, allegedly.
I don't know. I'm not having that. Not Benny Hill.
I'm
That's heresy.
I think he's more like asexual rather than but the spin stories out there. I don't know because I don't know him. But apparently he was as well. You can kind of see it in the way that a lot of them like to dress up as women in things as well. Yeah, and they could pull it
Yes.
off really well because they knew all the effeminate mannerisms that were, part of that scene in the 60s and 70s. They had to be a bit
Yeah.
effeminate. And there's quite a few like that. Dick Emery. Now, he wasn't, but he
He
used to
wasn't
dress up
gay
as
though, was he?
No, he wasn't gay, but he used to dress up as a woman a lot.
So did Les Dawson.
Kenny Everett as well. He was gay.
Oh yeah, he died of AIDS, didn't he?
Yeah, and he used to dress up as a woman a lot. So there seems to be a pattern to it. If they've dressed up as a woman, the chances are they might not be what you think they are. And but Dale Winton never dressed up as a woman.
No, but he was
Right.
flaming, wasn't he?
Well,
I mean, even Stevie Wonder could see he was gay. Jesus.
I never realized that Liberace was.
What?
Yeah.
You're winding
No,
me up
I
now,
saw
surely.
I saw a biopic about him, and he wasn't. It was made in the 50s or 60s or something, and it was made where
Yeah.
he was like a womanizer. And then they made a.
But then that's
a
kind of like a cover up back in those days, wasn't it? If being a womanizer.
They did a
you know-
remake. I think it had Michael Douglas in it or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but Matt Damon.
and he was flaming in that one, but I don't.
Yeah.
But in the original thing, in the film that was put out as propaganda for him, he
Mhm.
definitely wasn't. I thought, oh, so he just does the camp act on stage with a piano, and I thought, oh well, that'll work then. And I've sort of based my life around that.
Next, you'll be
no.
saying that Elton John is. Oh, yeah.
Well, he married a woman. Didn't
Yeah,
he?
well, no, exactly, yeah.
And
Well-
he put it out there that he was heterosexual at some point, and so did David Bowie. You would have thought that he was just heterosexual, but he wasn't.
No, Bowie liked a bit of both. How Elton John has not died of some sexually transmitted disease by now is just baffling.
He's
I don't
just
know.
very,
I don't-
very careful and very loyal to his. What's his
I
name?
was just going to say that.
David,
I mean,
somebody.
He weren't in the
wouldn't
back
go
in the
near
day,
him with a
though. He was a
barge
dirty
pole.
little ferret.
I don't think some of them are. I think some of them are like a one man. Some of them, but I know the scene itself that they get involved in kind of encourages them to be more promiscuous. I've seen a lot of commentary on this from all sides of it, and I think that's the problem. That what they're involved in creates a stereotype that they want to live up to. But I think there's some that just the two of them forever, because it's hard enough to find one person, isn't it? Really in your life.
I'd go with anything at all. Anybody watching this want to send me pictures? Anything at all. It's funny because
even dudes.
No. There's some guys on Twitter and they sort of say I'm getting followed by a load of bots, pictures and all this lot, and I'm going, I was.
Just follow them and look at their pictures.
Yeah,
gentlemen, I don't mean to be rude, but I've got to wrap this up.
Right, okay, we will call it quits now. So let me hang on.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. It's
no, don't worry.
my son and his wife have just turned up, so I need to go and say hello.
That's all right. We got a load out of the way, didn't we? And we've upset, just
Yoda.
everybody in the world again.
Oh yeah, Yoda's going to go mental tomorrow. He sees this.
I don't think we even discussed the subject of this video today.
What was it?
He usually it's
all
kind
about
of
remakes and
whatnot. Yeah. But anyway, thank you for joining us on these Outpost Frequencies. It's been great to talk about movies. Who doesn't enjoy it? Thank you for Dean for joining us. Thank you, Matt, for being here. You can find us at thelastmovieoutpost.com for all of your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about film. Yoda is back on Twitter now that Elon Musk has taken over at Drunken Yoda 1. I am Boba Phil on Twitter, and we're also the Movie Outpost. I'm reading it as it comes along the bottom of the screen now, so forget it. We're also on Facebook at the live movie Last Movie Outpost, and on Instagram, which is going quite well. Dean, are you on Twitter or anything that you want to shout out, or are you just quite happy to not?
I've closed them all down because I just don't agree. I don't agree with any of it. It's all giving free content to people who don't deserve to make money off me. So
that's fair enough.
Yeah. So I just exist in people's imagination, in a dream. I'm a dream to some, a nightmare to others. I'm Merlin.
Well, it was nice to have you with us today. So that's all from the Outpost Frequencies this week. Thank you very much, and we will see you next week with some proper content and a theme that we follow.
Foreskins.